Hey guys, welcome back. So what I got going on right now is somebody dropped off a top loader 4-speed. This is from a guy who I've rebuilt a couple transmissions for in the past. So much so that he had rebuild kits that he brought back that he had on shelf, and still got my handwriting on. So I thought that was kind of funny. It's probably been 2-3 years. But yeah, he brought this unit out of a car. I guess he buys and sells classic Mustangs over here in the UK. And the car he brought in, or he got in on consignment to sell for somebody, he asked them questions like, hey, everything good with the car? Did it drive okay? The owner's like, yeah, it's fine. And then he goes out and takes it for a test drive, and it's popping out of third gear on like the decell. So he called me up, asked me how much I charge to rebuild him. You know, I don't know how big of a hurry he was in, but seemed reasonably urgent. And so he hauled it out, brought it down to me, and here it is on the bench. And first thing I noticed, I'm gonna bring you in. So right here on the snout, see it's kind of stubby. And I immediately went and made mention, I think this is a 390 top loader, because there's no tag on the other side of the transmission where it should be. The tag is like ripped off or gone or something like that. And looking at it, it's a 1968K 67 tail shaft. So who knows what it is, but obviously I think it came from a 390 big block car, but he had it behind a small block. I don't know whether it was a 302 or a 351 or what it was. And you look at the end and see how it's all kind of boogered up. So normally, I mean, this is a T5 SN95 main shaft, or input shaft anyway. You should have a nice long area here for the pilot bearing to ride on, but the 390s are stubby. So obviously the pilot bearing was just kind of sitting like right here and maybe slipping around, moving around, wore out. And if this thing was free to float a bit more, it would kind of, if you look inside the transmission when it happens, this has got some play, and it may make the main shaft kick over and out of alignment enough for it to just pop out of gear, because that's third. So, I mean, I did notice it's got a pretty big gap between the keys and the synchro hub. So let's just, I think somebody put this transmission in the wrong application. Pilot bearing kind of wore out, had a lot of play. It does have quite a bit of play in it. And tolerances grew, and enough for things to wear and start popping out of gear. So I had to bring the shifter by, so when it goes back together, I could check it all, make sure all the throws, everything are right, because man, things get mismatched so many times on these old gearboxes, where you put it in gear and it goes like this. Well, if this linkage is too long, you may only ever get to like there when you're in third gear. So it's a lot easier to kick it out if the arms and the linkages aren't set up right. So when it's all said and done, put a fresh kit in it. It's gonna need an input shaft, the proper small block length ones. They're like 160 bucks nowadays, but yeah, plus shipping. But get that on order. I'll take this apart, see if it needs anything else. Start cleaning it up. Hopefully it'll look like $1 million when I'm done, and I'll bring you back and find anything else neat. Alright, so here's the top loader all apart. So found a bit more wrong than I initially suspected there would be. So I already kind of showed you guys the problem with the input and how this is stubby, worn out, not good for small block application. But this is actually, even though I didn't have the tag on the side to figure out what it was, running the date codes, looking at the gears and things like that, this is actually a close ratio top loader from like a 4-barrel engine 390 from like a 68 or 69 is what I can figure it out to be. So originally it was probably a really nice car wherever it came out of, but this transmission I guess is out of like a 65 Mustang at the moment. So it found its way there. But this was the reason why it was popping out of gear. I guess these are the synchro key springs, and this one was cracked. You can see this side of it kind of warped and has a little bit different shape to it, but this is what one should look like. So all these shift selector lockout keys, they're all down inside the the housing here, you know, a lot of them have like nicks in them and things like that. It's like whoever pulled it apart was just total amateur hour and put it back together. They were bashing and hitting, and who the heck knows what they were doing. So you can see in here all these nick marks, and these are from, that's from like this, getting smashed into the housing when people are trying to get this apart and hammer the main shaft out from the rear bearing. So, and with that said, this is probably like the worst damage or worst abuse in the whole transmission. Is right along in here. You can see is all grinder marks and flats, and I don't know what the heck they did. But if you look on the first gear itself, you can see in there all the way around is grinder marks, grinder marks, grinder marks. So whatever they did, let me put this together for you and kind of show you. And so when this is together like so, the big main bearing is here, so they are obviously trying to do something to get this bearing off and hammer in and doing stuff, and whatever they did really boogered it up. So, I mean, this is third gear right here, or second gear. This is first gear. So if I orient it like so, and you can spin this, you know, it's nice and quiet. There's really no play. I'll get close. You can hear there's no real play in the tolerance between the shaft and the gear. But then you got the first gear here. Now you can see it wiggling. So this would definitely be a rumbly, roary type of a transmission. Put this back together. Yeah, the 90 weight was probably dampening a lot of this, but yeah, so this transmission is going to need an input shaft. This is going to come with the rebuild kit. We're going to need a main shaft. We're going to need a first gear, and I'm going to order another speedometer gear for it because it's very worn. And you can see just like hammer marks on the pilot bushing or the tail shaft bushing and stuff like that, where they just trying to hammer and ham fist this thing back together. So just a total amateur hour. Whoever tried to put it together. So off to David Key, probably toploadertransmissions.com, and it's probably gonna be like $625 worth of parts. Shipping's gonna be like $100 to get to me, and yeah, it'll take a little while. That'll keep plugging on for you guys. Here, where we go to put it back together. All right, a couple weeks later, here's our new parts. All kind of packaged or preserved in like a Cosmoline. So we're gonna have to clean all this off. This gold colored stuff. I think DKT on the gear there. David Key transmission. So wherever he's getting them from, obviously putting his own mark on things. Yeah, we'll get these cleaned up, and I'll start busting out everything else here. I got the case cleaned up, the input cleaned up, tail shaft all cleaned up in the blaster, painted with a cast iron gray engine paint. And yeah, we're gonna get these things going here. I think Pete wants to be together for the final assembly, but I'm gonna get as far as I can and wait for him to start putting stuff together. All right, back with the top loader. The problem I'm running into is when you put the main shaft together, here's third gear, and then you put this is like the third gear and fourth gear slider assembly. This will go in together with the keys and everything. Once you put this on and you put the snap ring on, this gear is very tight and doesn't want to spin because there's no play in between this.
This one's nice and smooth.
Yeah. So this will space up later once it's all got tension in it and things. So I already had Pete take a couple thou off this on his lathe, because this is where that the clip for the keeper or the keys goes, and it was broken, and you can see it's kind of chewed up in here a little bit. So we trued it up, cleaned it, tidied it up more or less. Only took maybe 2 or 3 thousandths off. We got it back, and it's better, but it's still not what it should be. So let me take this off, put it on the old main shaft, and show you what it should be. So if you come over here, This is the original main shaft that's all boogered up. I mean, even at the top here you can see where somebody's blown out some of the splines. But this gear now spins on the shaft, and there's actually play in the 3/4 hub, and enough play that I can take like a 15 thou feeler gauge and stick it under the clip. So that's about how much we still need to take off of this hub to get it to play nice with the new main shaft. So, well, that's what we got to do. So Pete's going to run home quick and knock this out. Come back in the Volvo. He's drove the Mustang.
Yeah,
today.
so in the Mustang. So we'll go home in the Mustang, come back in the Volvo.
Yeah, and we'll try to get this together a lot more tonight, because Pete wants to kind of see how it all goes together. It's a lot more intricate than a T5. So be right back. Clear. I forgot you got that dash.
Yeah.
Much better than mine. I was looking at mine the other day, like trying to figure out where it was where I would really like to try to hide it and put it, but there's never any place that I think it would be nice.
And this is low enough now that I can see the indicators are on.
Oh.
Where I couldn't before.
Yeah. I gotta get mine out a little bit, maybe Saturday or Sunday, just to test the brakes.
Oh, right, yeah, of course.
I don't want to drive all the way down to get it MOT'd and something be wrong.
Yeah.
So it's like, back in a little bit.
Right, let's took some off, we'll check that.
Alright, yeah, I cleaned up all the booger marks.
Yeah.
And, alright, let's get this back to the house. Alright, so we're back together. And I got free spinning gear, which is about the same amount of drag as the gear underneath of it. So, lovely. So now I got to take it back apart, re-put blocker rings back in, and then we can keep putting this thing back together. So there's plenty of other videos online about how to rebuild the top loader. So this is just a unique little weird thing. So that's why I thought I'd throw it in there, and pretty much gonna get here with Pete and show him how to put a top loader back together.
Yep.
So, all right, be back in a few. All right, here's the next day. All done except for the top cover. So the RTV is still drying around the plugs at the front. Just want to make sure I don't get my fingers in any of that. But yeah, it turned out really nice. I think the main problem with this gearbox, why it broke that snap ring in third, was all because of the shifter. Because these old transmissions, you know, it's not like a T5 or TKO or TKX where all the shift rails are built into the transmission. Everything's, or half the stuff is external here. So this stuff has to be right. in order for the stuff inside to work right. So what I found, because when I took the shifter linkage and things off the transmission and the arms, I used my little my engraver tool here, and I engraved which ones which pins these came off of, and it turns out that these two were swapped, and this one is a little bit shorter than this one is. For the 1-2 is a little longer than the 3-4. Well, they were backwards. So if you change the pivot point and make it shorter, well, then the throw will be longer for the same amount of travel over here. So that being third gear, it was longer before, so it didn't actually fully engage into the gear. I think it was probably sitting about like here, and then whenever he would decelerate with it in gear, it would pop out, and it was wreaking havoc with the spring and the keys and everything. So yeah, so it was not engaging all the way in third, and probably not engaging all the way in fourth, the way this thing was adjusted. So once I swapped the arms over, readjusted the stops, readjusted all the threaded linkage, made sure everything was super nice. So you got to hold it over, and there's first full engagement, second full engagement, and the old Hurst shifter, you just push it straight up. There it went in third all the way, and fourth all the way. And again in reverse, it's a two-handed job, because you got to really reef over it to get it to go into gear. So, but yeah, I put this yoke in here just because it really helps center this back end up, make sure everything runs true. And actually, let me put it in reverse. It's kind of mesmerizing when you see everything kind of spin in different directions at different speeds. So maybe need to do a GIF for like the thumbnail or something for the video. It'd be kind of neat to do that. But so, all right, this thing's all buttoned up now, and I just got to put the lid on. 10 bolts. Actually, it doesn't like to return back to 1-2 is nice, because the lid actually pushes down on this spring a little bit and gives the detent balls a little more tension. So once it's all fully assembled, but I'm happy. It'll be definitely fixing all the problems that the customer had. We'll get it probably palletized up here in a bit and shipped off. But yeah, this is another one down. I haven't done one in a while. Me and Pete struggle with getting it back together. They're complicated, much more complicated than a T5 or a Tremec. I haven't taken a TKX apart yet. Hope I don't need to in a while, but yeah, that's it. So if you find it interesting, give me a like. I'm just glad you're kind of hanging out anyway, and I hope to see you again in another video. Take care. Bye-bye.